Hello everyone, welcome back to Godfrey Mumbi Academy. So today we are going to go through digestion topic. So we'll go through the exam questions, the ECZ exam questions that they've brought on the topic of what? Of digestion. So today we will do part 1. So you should ensure that you subscribe and follow along because I'll also do part 2 probably in these coming days. So for this part 1, let's look at these questions that I'm having here. So this first question came in 2012, but you know biology, they keep on repeating questions, so they might bring it this year. Okay, so consider following me closely. All right, so this is 2012. The question says figure 5.1 and figure 5.2. So this is figure 5.1 here, and this is figure 5.2. So we have two figures. Show the cross section through two different portions of the human alimentary canal. So these two figures show portions, okay, meaning they took portions of the what? Of the human alimentary canal. Now, what is a human alimentary canal, or what is an alimentary canal? An alimentary canal, don't forget that this is a tube that runs from the mouth all the way up to the anus. Okay, so that tube is what we call the alimentary canal, and it has different parts. So they have not told us the parts from which they took these figures. They've just said these figures 5.1 and 5.2 are from the what? Two different portions of the human alimentary canal. Then question 1a says, from which part of the alimentary canal were these cross sections taken? Okay, so by looking at the figures, now they are asking from which part of the what? Of the alimentary canal were these cross sections taken? So you need to look at the features of figure 1 and at the features of figure 2. From there now you can be able to know where they took them from. So figure 1, let's start with figure 1. If you look carefully at figure 1, it has these finger-like projections inside. These things that are looking like fingers, okay? They look to be convoluted. They are like more like fingers. So these parts are called villi, okay, or villi. That's plural. In singular term, they are called villas. So these finger-like projections, or these villi, are only found in the small intestine, specifically in the ileum. Okay, so meaning figure 5.1 was taken from the what? From the small intestine, because of the what? Because of these finger-like projections. So we will say figure 5.1 was taken from the what? From the small intestine. So we will say for the first one, it's small intestine. Small intestines. So that's one. When you look at figure 5.2 now, it has this duct. You see this duct which is opening into it. And this duct has this leaf-like structure. Okay? So this leaf-like structure is actually pancreas. And it has this duct C, which is the pancreatic duct. So it is opening into this figure 2. So this part which has this duct containing the pancreas is only duodenum, okay, or duodenum. And it is also part of the small intestines, but specifically it is what? It is duodenum. So here you can say small intestines, or to be specific, you can tell them ileum. Okay, you can tell them small intestine, but if you want to be specific, you can tell them that it's small intestine, but it is ileum. So small intestine, then ileum for this one, because even this one is small intestine, but this one is now what? Duodenum. So duodenum, that is what? That is figure 5.2. Why? Because of the what? This duct which is opening into it. This duct is only found in the what? In the duodenum. So here for A2, it says give reasons for answer in A1 above. I've already given the reasons. For reason 1, for this one, because of the presence of what? So mind you, this is 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. All of them giving 4 marks. So why did we say this is ileum? Because of the what? These finger-like projections called villi. So we'll say because it has, you say because it has finger-like projections, because it has finger-like projections called villi. Okay, just like this. Then for reason 2, because it has this duct which opens into it. So because it has a duct is more like a tube. It has this tube which opens into it, called pancreatic duct. Pancreatic duct. That's all. When we come to B, it says explain the role played by B in the alimentary canal. So we have this part B, okay? And if you look at it well, it has 2 sections. There is this darker part, then there is this lighter part here. So these are muscles. So they want us to explain the role played by this part B. So now, first thing that you need to know, these are what? These are muscles. And these muscles, they are in the alimentary canal, okay? But specifically on this part, these muscles, they are in 2 types. So we have circular muscles and also longitudinal muscles. So you tell them, when explaining the role of this part B, you tell them part B contains 2 muscles, which are circular and longitudinal muscles. And these muscles, these 2 muscles, they help in the what? In peristalsis. They enable peristalsis to occur. Minus these 2 muscles, peristalsis cannot occur. Now, what is peristalsis? Peristalsis is actually the movement of the food bolus, the movement of food along the what? The digestive system. In simple terms, when these 2 muscles are contracting and relaxing, they push the food to go downwards. And that's how the food moves. And that process is called what? Peristalsis. The contractions, the contraction and relaxation of circular and longitudinal muscles in order to move the food bolus along the digestive system. So that is the main function of what? Of this part B, these muscles. So now let's write here. So when explaining, so you should take note of the way I'm explaining here, because this is 3 marks. So when explaining, you tell them, you start by naming what this part B is. So you tell them part B. So you say it contains circular and longitudinal muscles. So you can end here for the first point. Okay, so this, they will give you a mark knowing that you know what you are talking about. These are made up of 2 muscles, longitudinal and circular. Then you tell them that these muscles enables peristalsis. Peristalsis to do what? To occur. To occur. So they enable peristalsis to occur then you say by contraction and relaxation. Then you conclude this moves the food bolus along the digestive system. So if you've seen the way I've explained, I've included biological terms, I've included the processes, which is peristalsis, and I've named the muscles. And by this you can get these 3 marks. So you should take note of the way you should explain also. Then the last question says, name 2 juices passing through tube C. So we have this tube C, and I say this tube C, this duct is pancreatic duct. So name 2 juices that pass through this. So if you look well, we have the pancreas here. The pancreas produces 1 juice, which is pancreatic juice. So that is the first juice. It passes through tube C into this space here. But again, we have this thing here. This thing is where the gallbladder is, the one which stores bile which is produced by the liver. So when the liver produces bile, it stores in the gallbladder. It is not shown. It is like a bulb here. Then that gallbladder now releases the bile into this space. So the bile also passes through this duct. So 2 juices will be, number 1, we have pancreatic juice. We say pancreatic juice. Then number 2, you say bile. So these are the 2 juices produced by what? That passes through duct C. So this was 2012. We've answered the full question. Let's go to the next. So this is the next. So this is now 2018. Okay? This is 2018. I'm sure you are able to see. So it says figure 2.0 shows the alimentary canal of a human being. So we have this figure which shows same question. So you know the way they bring digestion. Again, the last paper we are from answering, they brought the alimentary canal. Again, they've brought the alimentary canal. So it's like on digestion, they like the alimentary canal. So you should be conversant with it. Then this is the figure. Then it says identify the parts labeled H and J. We have H and J here. Of course, we have K, L, and M. Now they want us to identify H and J. So H, you know that, you see that this is the tube because this is the mouth. This J is the stomach. So H is the tube connecting the mouth and the what? And the stomach. You see here, right? So this tube which connects the mouth and also the what? The stomach is esophagus. So H is what? H is esophagus. So you need to know that. So esophagus. This is H, the esophagus. Then J, like I said, J is the what? Is the stomach. The part which is immediately after the esophagus, this tube, is what? The stomach. Stomach. That's J. B says explain the functions of the parts labeled K and L in digestion. We have K and what? L. So for you to explain the parts, you need to know, for you to say the functions, you need to know the parts. Without knowing them, you can't explain. So if you look at K, here, it looks like a leaf. This is same as the question we answered, this thing here. You see, this is a leaf-like structure. Even this is what? A leaf-like structure. So the part is same. And K is what? Is pancreas. So you need to know this. Pancreas always looks like a what? Like a leaf. So what is the function of pancreas? Pancreas has mainly 2 functions, but here they only want 1, because this is 2 marks and this will carry 1 mark, even this 1 mark. So pancreas in digestion, it produces pancreatic juice, which contains enzymes like pancreatic amylase. This pancreatic amylase is the one which now digests starch, okay? It converts starch into maltose. So you can tell them it produces so you can tell them it produces, maybe not to write so much just for 1 mark, you can tell them it produces pancreatic amylase, which digests, so that's a biological term, which digests starch into maltose. So this is the first reason. It has another reason of maintaining blood glucose levels. That also is the function of pancreas. But this is enough. If they ask to, you should include that one. Maintenance of what? Constant blood glucose levels. Okay. Then for L, so what is L? Because we need to know L for us to know the what? The function. So if you look at L, this is the large intestine, because these are small intestine, but the large intestines are starting from here. So this part is large intestine. What is the function of large intestine? Large intestine, mainly, it is for absorption of H2O, water, and mineral salts. So absorption of water and mineral salts from where? From the undigested food particles. So when that food which is not digested, it contains water and what? Mineral salts. That's the function of this L, which is the large intestine, to absorb that water and mineral salts. All right, let's go to C. C says, label on figure 2.0, this figure, the structure where 1 bile is stored with letter X. So use letter X to name the structure where bile is stored. So you need to know where bile is stored. So I explained earlier, bile is very important. Bile is a liquid which is used to digest fats, okay, under the process of emulsification. So emulsification of fats, it is the breaking down of fats. So that is being done by this juice, which is bile. So bile is the one which digests fats. Now, where is it made? So bile is made in the liver. You should know that. This bile is made in the liver. The liver is this part, the black part. But when the liver makes bile, it doesn't store it. It takes it and store it somewhere. This thing, the white thing here, the one you see here. I said on the last question that it looks like a bulb if you see here. So that is a gallbladder. That is gallbladder. So gallbladder, the function is to store bile, this liquid, which is made by the liver. Then when it stores it, where does it work? It works in the digestion of fat. So it releases it and it comes into the small intestines. So where bile is stored is this bulb. So you can indicate with X. You can just say like this. This is X. So this is showing in biology you don't put arrows. And you should use a pencil. You just draw a line like this. This is X. So this is pointing to this white thing, the bulb-like thing. This is where bile is stored, in the gallbladder. Then label on the part the structure where hydrochloric acid is produced with letter Y. Where hydrochloric acid is what? Is produced. Hydrochloric acid is produced in the stomach. You need to know that hydrochloric acid is produced in the stomach. So the stomach is this part J. So you just say Y, because they say we use Y. This is where hydrochloric acid is produced. Then the last one says, state one metabolic function of the part labeled M. M, which is the liver. They want us to state one what? Metabolic function of the liver. So, what are metabolic reactions? Metabolic reactions refers to chemical reactions in the body. So they want us to state the function as in terms of reactions, or in terms of reactions in the what? In the body. What is the function of the what? Of the liver. So in terms of metabolic functions, the liver, number one, you can tell them, like I said, it is used in the what? In the emulsification of what? Fats. But the other one, which is common when they say metabolic function, is deamination of what? Amino acids. So deamination of amino acids. So deamination is the breaking down of excess amino acids to produce urea. Yeah, that is as simple as that. Then the last one says, describe two ailments which can result when structure M is not functioning normally. M, the liver. When the liver is not functioning normally, state what? Two ailments that would result. So more like the diseases that are associated with the liver. So number one, there is inflammation. Inflammation is the abnormal increase in the size of the what? Of the liver. It will start increasing in size. So that is a problem, the first problem. Number two, there is also constipation. So constipation is the difficulties in the passing out of the fecal matters, in the passing out of feces. When you have difficulties, that is constipation. There is also cirrhosis, which is the hardening of the what? Of the liver. So there are so many. They just wanted two. Let's look at the last question for part 1. So this is our last question. And it says, figure 2 shows part of the human digestive system. So this is part of the human digestive system. And now I'm sure you are familiar with the parts. So you will be able to answer this question. So A says, identify the parts labeled H and I in figure 2. H, look at it. We've again tackled something like this. A leaf-like what? Structure. Same question. So this is pancreas. Okay? Pancreas. So you say H is pancreas. Then I. If you look at I, this is the last portion of the large intestines, because the large intestines starts from here all the way up to here. This is the last part. So the last part where actually ejection, the part just before the anus, this is the one, I. This is called the rectum. Okay? So this is rectum. Then B, explain the function of the parts labeled J and K. J is the large intestine, and K, look at K. Looks like something we talked about, the gallbladder. So let's start with J, the large intestine. What is the function? Well, the large intestines are used, the main function, it is in the absorption of what? Water and mineral salts, just like we said. So J, it is used to absorb water and mineral salts, water and mineral salts. Then K, the gallbladder. The gallbladder is the function is to store bile, which is produced by the liver before releasing it into the small intestine. So the main function is to do what? To store bile. Just like that. Then C, state 3 metabolic functions of the part labeled L in figure 2. Where is L? The liver. So the liver, I said last time to say the liver has so many functions. Sometimes they bring and give it 12 marks on the essay part, where they will need you to give out 6 different functions and explain them. So you need to know as many functions of the liver as possible. Okay? So state 3 functions. So number 1, the one we said last time, deamination of what? Deamination of excess amino acids. Then number 2, so that is the first one. Number 2, it is used in the detoxification of harmful substances. Then the last one, so these are some of the what of the functions. The last one, you can say in the what, in the maintenance of constant blood, but it is used in the maintenance of constant blood sugar levels. Yeah, so you can say to maintain, in simple terms, to maintain a constant blood sugar levels. Yeah, so they wanted 3. Then D, outline 2 effects of the ailments of the part labeled J. So the what? The part labeled J is large intestine. What are the 2 effects of the ailments? So when J is having problems, what are you going to experience? What are the effects? So the effects are actually similar to the effects of the liver, the ailments of the liver. So the same ones we said. Number 1, we are going to have constipation. You have constipation because this is where also, actually it's the last part of digestion. So once it has problems like there is indigestion and whatsoever, it will lead to constipation. You have difficulties in what? In digestion. Then the second part is inflammation. So these will be the 2 what? Effects of the ailments of the large intestines. All right, so don't forget to subscribe. So this is part 1, so that you may also watch when I upload part 2 as soon as possible. Stay blessed.